Hello everyone, welcome to this presentation of a new version of the Marker Plus system. This is the version 4. First of all, let's review what the Marker Plus is, and then we can review the new additions. On Marker Plus, we can automate the entry of any signal. On this example, we are looking at dots, and let's say that we want to enter long when one of these dots happens. First of all, we have to check that the object painted by our indicator is compatible with markers. We can double click on the object. If we get an object properties, then is a standard Ninja object, so it is compatible. All of the objects available on Ninja are compatible with markers, so most of the indicators are compatible. You only have to check if you get the properties dialog box. Now when you have a dot, you want to enter long, and on the previous version we only were able to enter at market. That means at the close of this bar, if this dot was painted, then we were able to enter at market near the open of the following bar. Also, if we have an indicator that paints objects on intrabar mode, markers works also on intrabar, so the entry is executed at the same time the object is painted. So if it is not painted at the close of the bar, then you will get a field near the tick instant when the object is painted. But on this new version, now we can have more options. Let's review the new parameters of the Markers Plus. This is the version 4, and now we have an order type. The default was market, but now we can select, for example, entering at market. On this example, we'll get a field here is a loser, and we'll get a field here which is a winner. If instead of that we want to place a buy stop 3 ticks over the high of the signal bar, like this, we don't get a field on this one and we get a field on this other. For doing that, we can use the order type setting, and for long signals, instead of entering at marker, we enter at the height of the bar with an offset of -3 ticks. Minus is because I want a worse price than current. If I put a positive offset, then my order will be placed 3 ticks below the high. So let's see how this works.
Target filled.
Going back to 2:06 p.m.
Order cancelled.
I forgot to mention, when we place an order, we can limit the number of bars to remain active without a field. So on this bar I place a buy stop and it will remain active without being cancelled for a certain number of bars. On this example I will use 2 bars. Placing a 1 will mean an instant fill. So I will leave an extra bar to get a fill.
Order pending.
So the dot was detected, we took the high of the bar, added 3 ticks against the trade, so it is minus 3 ticks, and because the entry price is over the market, we place a buy stop.
Order filled.
There was no fill on this bar, neither on this one, so the order was cancelled. And then this other dot was detected and placed a buy stop 3 ticks over this high, which got a fill at the following bar. If, for example, the
Target
entry
filled.
the entry price was on the other side of the market, instead of minus 3, 6, let's say 9 ticks positive. Then when the dot is detected, we look at the high of the bar and put an entry 9 ticks at a better price.
Order pending.
On this example, it is over the dot. We can also use the object as an entry price. This is not going to get a fill.
Order filled.
Yes, it got a fill on the second bar, and then this signal was ignored because the system was already in the market with this entry.
Target filled.
If, for example, we have an indicator that also points the entry place, we can use the object price. Instead of looking at the high, we can look at the object. On this example, the offset will be 0. So when the dot is detected, the order is placed at the object price minus or plus an offset. Another possible entry types. Remember that the original entry type on markers was the market type. On market, when the dot is detected, we send the order usually near the open of the next bar. But if we have a very volatile market, usually we can get slippage. To avoid that, we can use a limit order at bid. So we can enter long at bid or ask and short at any of them, with or without offset, and with the number of bars that we want to allow this. So the effect is we always get an entry on the open of the bar, but if we have a volatile market, instead of having an entry with too much slippage, we just have the order, we only get the order remaining for a certain number of bars until it is cancelled. Let's review now some other features of the new version. Okay, as we have seen on the previous example, we can detect any object and place an entry order of different types. But let's see what else we have on this new markers version, because now that we have the signals, those signals can be from our indicator, but also we have the option to create our own signals and to create filters to filter some of these signals. Let's remove this indicator, and as we can see, we have several new indicators on this version 4. This is Marker Plus version 4. So let's see some example. Let's say that we want to filter some signals with, for example, the difference between two moving averages. We have a fast moving average, a slow moving average. We only want to enter long when the fast is over the slow. This is a classic example. So we have to copy those lines with the copy indicator. On the input series, we select the line and the indicator. We can use any indicator installed on Ninja, including those that we have added and not part of standard Ninja. On this example, I am going to use just a single exponential moving average, for example 34 in color red. Let's call it EMA fast. And I want it over the price. And now I want a slow moving average. EMA slow. Also over the price. So if we want to use this as a filter, I am interested in taking longs only when the red line is over the blue line, and entering short when the red is below the blue. For that, we need those lines copied, which is just what I've done. The fast is on the EMA fast variable and the slow is here. So now we can use the crossover indicator place the names of one line, EMA fast, EMA slow, and the difference is copied into a new variable, my delta. And this is the difference between both two lines. So if, for example, I want to enter long when this is positive, my delta must be positive. So on marker plus, I can use the filter conditions, which is usually by default set to false, but we can enable, and I will put the name is my delta, must be positive, so the minimum value is 0. And for shorts, my delta must have a maximum value of 0, so it must be negative. When we are on live markets, we get an information on the top corner which says that we are avoiding longs because the filter, and this is because the current filter is on short mode. If we get a crossover to the upside, then it will avoid shorts. As we can see, we also have markers, because I have not disabled that. On the crossover, we put the difference between these two lines into a new variable, but also we check a threshold, currently 0, and paint crossover downs and crossovers ups. That means when this difference goes through 0, we get a crossover down or a crossover up. We can make this threshold a little bigger. So now we have a delayed signal. We can see at the bottom that only when this is bigger than minus 0.0.2 we get a short signal, and then same for the upside. So with this indicator we can have the difference between two lines, any lines from any indicator, use that result on a filter, and also if this difference exceeds a threshold, we can also paint markers. These markers can be used as an entry or as an exit. Currently I have these dark red and dark green arrows used as an exit condition. My entries are cyan dots and red dots, and my exits are dark red arrows and dark green arrows. I can also disable the exit condition from the toolbar. On the crossover, this is not only for lines, we can also check this, use this for example, for a stochastic. Let's say that I copy a stochastic line, use the key line of the stochastic. And now we can check the crosses from the oversold or overbought. Let's say 90 and 10. I will remove the markers from the other crossover. So no more these lines crossovers. But I still have the difference on a variable, so I can use it on a filter. But I want to paint stochastic crossover from overbought. I want to paint this crossover or this crossover, this for the upside, and for that I need a constant value. I will use the constant indicator. For overbought I am using 90, and for oversold 10. Then I want to check these crossovers. Using the same indicator that I used here, the crossover indicator. And I want to check the key line versus this constant overbought. The difference between those two lines will be my variable number 1. And I only want to paint crossover downs, not the up. So I get this arrow for this cross down, this other arrow for this crossover down, and so on. I am avoiding the crossovers up, only interested in the cross down. This for short signals. We also have the difference between the overbought level and the key line on this variable, the number 1 variable. Now I do the same for the key line versus the oversold. Now only interested in the crossover up. So not showing this one. On variable number 2, I am not using these variables, so we can hide this one and this other. Now we have signals on this, and this. So we can create a stochastic overbought oversold signal indication with just the tools included on markers, and then we can filter with also the tools included on markers. For example, I only want to take these two longs because we are on green mode. We have already set this filter on markers. This is my delta, and on markers I have my delta positive for longs, my delta negative for shorts. So on this example, I am going to take only longs, and on this example, only shorts. And this is using the indicators copy to copy the line of any indicator, crossover, and constant. Something I forgot is that we also have the result of our filter on the corner if I am using a filter. So I know that if I have a short signal now, it is going to be avoided because the filter is not allowing to have a short. I can disable on Marker Plus the filters. So now I am ignoring all these conditions. Let's review more options. With the slope indicator, we can check the slope of any line of any indicator. We put a name also, for example my slope. We choose the line from any indicator. For example, a single moving average. Of something slow. And we get the histogram is the slope. We need to add the indicator to understand what it is doing. When the line is trending up, it has a positive slope. This is the value of the slope. It is almost 0 here because it is horizontal. And this cross to 0 through 0 changes from positive to negative is also signaled by this triangle down. So now we have the slope of any line copied into my slope. That means that we can take only longs when my slope is positive, take only short when my slope is negative. We have a threshold, and we can paint markers or vertical lines at the bottom, so we can see when we are exceeding the threshold. If we use 0, we may have a lot of fake signals on these almost horizontal locations. If we use a too big threshold, we may get no signals at all. Or too low number of signals. Only a long on this big slope to the upside, only a short on this big slope to the downside. Usually something just in the limit to avoid noise is enough to get good signal. Short, long, short, long, short, long, and short. So with these two options, with the slope of any line and with the difference between two lines, we can create very complex trace setups. and also filters. We can combine several filters into a single one. For example, let's say that I want to take trades only when the average volume is bigger than a certain level. Example, volume moving average. Let's copy that into a markers variable. So we use the copy, and my volume, I will put that name, volume moving average of the last 8 bars. And then the ADX, for example, with an ADX of more than 15, we can also put that into a copied variable, my ADX. So now let's say that we want to trade only when we have enough volatility, let's say 15, and enough volume, 500. I can put into markers any but only one of these variables. I have my vol and my ADX, but not both on the filter conditions. So which one can I use? For that I have the and on and I can put 3 variables or 2, and then loop the third condition into another and indicator, so we can put several conditions together. For this example will be my volume bigger than 500 and my ADX bigger than 15, and this will be my result. When both conditions are in agreement, my volume and my ADX, I have a result of +1, +1. When one of these two is false, it is -1, also painted in red. So now on markers, I can use my result on the filter conditions. I can use my result with a minimum of 1 for longs and my result with a minimum of 1 for shorts. That means that currently I have not set an account on markers. I am currently avoiding both longs and shorts because the volume. Let's move near here at 12:13. We are on the limit of 500, and here we are allowing to trade. When markers is filtering, avoiding longs or short, that means that if a signal is detected, it is going to be ignored. So as we can see, let's make a review. With the crossover, we can check the difference between two lines. Those lines are painted by any indicator, and if that difference exceeds a threshold, we can also paint a marker. This marker can be used on marker system for an entry or for an exit. The same happens with the slope. With the slope, we can check the slope of any line of any indicator, and if that level of threshold exceeds a threshold, it also paints a signal, and that signal can also be used by markers to trigger an entry or an exit. Both values are also possible to be used as filter conditions. We can create complex filter conditions, adding several of them with the AND function, and filter signals in markers. Once markers have detected a signal, and if it is not filtered, it can execute now a different number of possible entry options. The usual entry at market, or put an entry at bid plus an offset that may result into a buy limit or buy stop, depending on the offset sign that we can use. The same for ask, high or low. This is the high of the bar where the signal was detected, or the low of the bar where the signal was detected. We can also use the object price. If the price of the object has some value, because it is indicating where to place the order, we can also use this, also adding an offset. And when the entry is not market, because it is a buy limit or a buy stop, or a sell limit or a sell stop, we can also limit the duration of that order to get a fill. If it doesn't get a fill in the 4 following bars, including the current, then the order is cancelled. So we have a very wide options to create any trade setup. Okay, I hope this has been useful for you. If you have any question or any suggestion or comment, post it below this video. Thank you everyone. See you, bye bye.